So everybody, thanks so much for being here. So Albert Maysles, who we have with us, has been acknowledged by the New York Times as being the dean of documentary filmmaking with his brother David. They were among the first to capture life as it unfolded before the camera without any scripts, without any sets or narration. So Albert and his brother David are credited with starting direct cinemas, the first documentaries that really look the way we see them today. And among the films you may know are Grey Garden, Salesman, and of course Gimme Shelter, which have become cult classics. You began your career photographing in a mental hospital in Russia, which later became your first documentary, Psychiatry in Russia. And he's also documented the projects by Christo and Jean-Claude through several films over 3 decades and received various recognitions, including an Academy Award in 1974 for Christo's Valley Curtain, and The Gates was honored in Tribeca in 2005, just to name a few. He's also the founder of the Maysles Documentary Center in Harlem, which is a nonprofit dedicated to the production and exhibition of documentary films that inspire dialogue. And we're all inspired by your work, so thank you for being here.
Awards or no awards, I'm one of those people that feels that something going on that's interesting and important, it doesn't have to be a celebrity. It can be an ordinary person, and so much of my filming is of ordinary persons, whether it's in Russia, Africa. I'm making a film that's be finished in a couple of months for people on the train that runs from Chicago to Portland in Seattle. It's just filming people talking to each other, just as they would if I weren't there. How do I get people so that they're not thrown off by the presence of the camera? Right from the first moment I meet somebody, they catch something in my eyes where they know that I'm going to treat them properly, and it's smooth sailing from there on in, because I continue that relationship, which I think it's one of love, and it's heart to heart. When I started out as a kid, I liked the whole idea of cameras, and I wanted an expensive camera like a Leica, but I didn't have anywhere near the money for that. And one day I happened to walk into a hardware store, and I saw a camera for 35 cents, brand new. So I bought it right away and started taking pictures. And then in 1955, having been teaching psychology for 3 years at Boston University, I had the summer off, and I went off to Russia, because I thought with that camera I could humanize a view of Russians. And to this day I believe that we can do so much with a documentary approach, humanizing people, just filming their stories, so that we find ourselves on common ground with people of another nationality, another race, or whatever. We need love in our films. We need love on television and in all of the media. Hollywood, unfortunately, has this hunch that you need drama, and the way to get drama is by depicting conflict, which is usually at its most is war rather than peace. And I get so disgusted when I see fast cutting and this professional style of putting the subject that you're filming over to one side or the other. But you want to look directly into that person's heart and soul. Put it in the middle. There may be something else going on to the side that helps you understand further. So conclude that, yes, and move your camera accordingly. But too much of what we see is a way to get away from life rather than to make connection with it. And I'm so eager to tell many a story. I wish I had a camera when I was a kid. And in the 1930s, coming from a family, a very poor middle-class family. And I remember there was a strap hanging over one door, and if I misbehaved, then I'd get hit by the strap. And my father would never do that. But there was an occasion where I must have misbehaved very badly. And he struck me with the strap. It didn't hurt, I didn't think much of it at all. But as I walked through the apartment, I happened to pass through his bedroom, and there he was with his head against the wall crying. And that crying, in a strange way, taught me more than his saying, I love you, I love you, I love you. It taught me how much he loved me. And also, my father was a musician, and got me to love music. One night he would play a recording, and I would watch his face, as every bit of his expression told me that much more about what music was all about.